Welcome back to our 2025 in Reflection, 26 in Prediction series. Joining me today, Tiffany Caponigro, who is a product marketing manager for Rightworks. Tiffany, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I can't complain, although as we sit here and record this is going to maybe date the recording a little bit. We are staring down the barrel of what is told to us to be a very significant ice storm coming this potential weekend here in Georgia. So, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what actually happens compared to the forecast.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts are with you all because ice, regardless of if it's in the southeast or anywhere else, is nothing to mess around with. So stay safe.
Yeah, here's hoping this isn't the last time anybody ever hears from me, right? All right, Tiffany, it is now first couple of weeks into 2026, and we will have a chance to talk about sort of where you have some thoughts or predictions on 2026. But I want to take us back a couple of weeks and thinking about 2025 as a whole. From your perspective, do you have anything that stands out to you as a major accomplishment or victory lap from 2025?
Um, it's kind of a personal one, but yeah. So, you've known me for a long time. You know that I coached accounting firms for a long time and then recently moved into the product marketing role in January of last year. And I was used to coaching others and kind of providing guidance to them, and this year, or 2025, was, it was one where I got to practice what I preached, kind of, where I had to put things to the test. I caught myself feeling overwhelmed, like there weren't enough hours in the day, and feeling like, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot." And, I had a lot going on where I was trying to learn as much as I could and step into this new role. And, so I had to kinda do a reset, and it was kind of fun because I was thinking of it in terms of, "Okay, what do I tell firms?" When they were feeling this exact same way, and what I would hear from them was problems for every solution, and I caught myself doing that. And I was like, "Okay, this is not good. I recognize this. How do I fix it?" So the first thing was like a mindset shift where it was like, "Okay, how can I control this? How can I manage this? How can I feel better about things and not feel so overwhelmed?" And it was starting with that mindset shift and then getting organized, which I love checklists, so that wasn't too hard. And then taking things like one bite-sized piece at a time. And it's so funny, like that book Atomic Habits, like you start out with something really small and it kind of starts to build momentum. And then before you know it, you've got that momentum going, and then it's easy to keep it going. So it's kind of interesting because I would say that now I probably have more on my plate than I did this time last year, but I am a lot more in control of my workload. I feel a lot better and I still have that momentum carry me forward. So I would say that's my biggest victory of 2025 was actually doing the things that I had provided guidance to firms to do for years before. So, um kind of walking the walk, I guess.
Yeah, so the proof was actually in the pudding, and the pudding turned out well.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, along those same lines, um, what do you think was the biggest lesson that you learned in 2025? And this can be personally for you, or this could be about the profession as a whole.
Um, you know, and this also goes back to kind of changing roles, going from coaching into product marketing, but I I was kinda naive coming into this role where I just assumed that businesses in general, and specifically accounting firms, that they prioritize security, and it turns out that's not always the case. And it's not because they don't care about security, but what I learned is that there's a very strong false sense of security with a lot of firms where they may think, "Oh, we're too small to be a target," or they think that their, like, DIY solution, like antivirus solution is, "We're good. We've got antivirus, we're good." or if they have an MSP that they work with for troubleshooting on their laptops, then they think that, oh, they've got us covered, but they may not even understand like what the scope is. And so it was really eye-opening and a big lesson learned moving into this role.
It's interesting because other folks that I've talked with have talked about security being a big priority or lesson learned, and that that thought of I'm okay almost lulls us into that false sense of security, because the truth is every single day in business and in our personal lives, we are the targets of somebody for some reason. And it's scary to think about how fast security threats are evolving. And we'll talk about AI here in a few minutes and what that might mean for the industry. But it is absolutely imperative that you treat security as one of your pillars, both in your personal life and in your business life.
100%.
So last question about 2025, was there anything that caught you off guard in 2025? And it can be good or bad, just something that surprised you last year.
Um, that there are a lot of, I know we're gonna touch on AI, but probably that there are a lot of businesses and firms in particular that aren't using it yet. That they hear about it. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Like you can't have a conversation without hearing about AI, and they may be using it and not realizing that they're using it. But I was surprised at how many firms are not using it as part of their daily operations.
So switching now to 2026, talking about AI and using it, how are you currently using AI yourself? And follow on to that, do you anticipate that changing this year?
So I use it every day. It is part of my daily operations, and I would say that I use it personally and professionally. So for everything from meal planning for the week to um, brainstorming and just my current day, it's so helpful to have um, just that neutral point of view, I guess. I use it for email communication. There are all sorts of ways that I'm using it in my day to day, but I've gotten to where I am able to utilize it in a way that I'm a whole lot more efficient. I can do a lot more in a lot less time. Moving into 2026, one thing that I think we might see more of is not only adoption. I think that wave is still very much, it's going to continue. We're going to see more and more AI, but I think that we're going to start to see more discernment with AI, and specifically in regards to ROI. So, like, there was an interview that I watched recently, and this guy had a hackathon at his work, and their idea that they came up with was AI agents to handle customer support calls. And the way that they developed their plan, it was going to um, utilize these AI agents to handle 90% of support calls, which sounds incredible, right? So they were super excited about their idea. They presented it, and the response was, that's not solving our problem. That's not solving the business problem. And they're thinking, 90% of it, how is that not solving? And the response was, well, that other 10% is what's taking 90% of our team's time. So then when they looked at it from the ROI standpoint, it wasn't worth the investment to have this. So I think that we might see more of that, where we've evolved to the point where we're comfortable with AI. We're thinking of ways we can utilize AI more, but we're starting to think about it in terms of, does this truly make sense? Is this the right fit? Because it's not everything. It's a great tool, but it is not everything. So I think we might see more of that.
Yeah, the shiny toy can do a lot of things, but the shiny toy is not always the most important thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from AI and the ROI sort of focus on things, do you have any other big predictions for this profession in this coming year?
um, no predictions. I would say though, a hope that I do have for 2026 is that we don't become numb. I think that there is a lot going on. There's so much happening. And with specific regards to security, kind of to your point, like there's always a new scam, a new threat, a new setting that we're told to turn out. Like, oh, if you've got the most recent update on your phone, make sure you turn off this setting or adjust this setting. And like it's exhausting. It's a lot to keep up with. And I think that that makes us more susceptible to fatigue, where we just want to be like, it's too much. I can't keep up with it. So I'm not even going to try. And I hope that that doesn't happen, because I think it's really important to stay aware of the emerging threats. And specifically with regards to business, I think it's important for every business is unique. Every setup is unique. Sometimes people are more comfortable with technology or less comfortable with technology. And I think that, for some people, it may make sense to, like, if you're not tech savvy, outsource it. It's an investment. You're protecting everything that you've worked so hard to build. Invest in security. Even if you are tech savvy, it's important to weigh out the options and go, okay, what does it make sense for me to manage? Or does it make sense for me to outsource or kind of lift the burden from my shoulders, utilize resources, and spend more time in my business? And so I think that it's important to kind of keep that vigilance of threats and utilize resources where it's appropriate.
So I might know what the answer will be based upon just sort of what you said there, but give me one hope not for 2026. Give me something that you hope doesn't happen.
That is what I hope that we
Okay.
don't become numb. I really hope that we don't become numb. I think that it's hard not to. Like I said, with everything that's going on around us, I think it's hard not to, but I think it's important to be cognizant of that is susceptibility and make sure that that doesn't happen.
Well, I got $1 billion idea for you here. It's to create an AI agent that you can plug in all of your devices, be it your phone, your computer, etc. And that agent then scans all the latest updates and reports back to you on a daily basis. Hey, here are the things you need to make sure that you turn off according to this latest release.
I love that. And we've got the technology to do it. Love it.
We do. We have the technology. We have AI that can help us build the AI to make sure that our AI updates are AI proof or something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany Caponigro, any other quick thoughts as it relates to 2026?
I think there's one other thing that I would add, and it's one thing that I think that we might see more of in 2026. And I think it pertains to security, but also to the growing popularity of different SaaS solutions. So just like we have like apps on our phones that are, every time you purchase something, it's like download the app to be able to use this new product that you purchased. I think that in business, we're using more and more applications, and there's so many cool things that do different things. And with that comes logins for everything. And whether you're a small firm, a large firm, a tax firm, bookkeeping firm, it doesn't matter. The more applications that you're using, the more you begin to outgrow password managers. I think that identity management is going to be big in 2026, where business owners, administrators, they need the ease of being able to provide access without actually sharing credentials. So I think in 2026, that's going to be a big one as well.
Awesome. Well, we got double predictions and trends from Tiffany, and we know that you are hoping we don't become numb. Here is to a positive 2026, and may it be the best year yet.
Yes. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Tiffany.